for giving a great introduction because I think everybody's really excited and I got a great crowd here going for this phenomenal feature. Ladies and gentlemen, the only reason why I feel bad that she's the feature is because she couldn't be a part of the open mic because I like the ladies around and she's so double plus awesome. I really enjoy her. I really enjoy, as of recent, the performances that they were having at their place for individuals. I went to one within the past 6 months. I'm like, that's really cool. She's been doing a lot of stuff as of late, and she does a lot of great interactive work with other people, and in the writing that she does, she's been doing short stories. Tell me about the Scarborough. But I think everybody's heard about that, but I'm going to stop just rambling about how cool she is.
Well, we're going to start our salons up in after April.
Might as well have it in the nicer weather, no kidding.
So we'll be definitely doing that and inviting people.
I think I probably had the last one before like the storm struck for me. But that was actually very, very cool. And it's also very, very cool. And I think I said this 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I'd love to hear the way she says things rhythmically. And she's like, don't do that, you're making... And I'm like, I'm not making fun of you. I apparently like it because I was just writing something and trying to do something in some retarded style similar to it.
By
So
the
it was...
way, your Sistina is very cool.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. And I also think you're very cool. And I think everyone here thinks you're very cool. So ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for a great feature. If we have time after, we can have more open micers. But please give it up for Jenene Ravesloot.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is really a delight. We're getting ready for a heavy-duty April, as I'm sure everyone else is. So it's a real pleasure to have an opportunity to read now.
Yay.
Yeah. So, I'm going to start off by honoring Billy Arrow, a favorite poet of mine. And he did a It's Like poem that was quite wonderful. And so I thought I would do something like that too. So mine is simple. It's simply titled, It's Like. It's like rolling a pair of pips against a backstop. It's like playing losers' cribbage. It's like a game of mahjong without the wind tiles. It's like Old Maid without the bluff. It's like knuckle marbles played for keeps. It's like holding a poker hand with one pair and no value. It's like a game of spin the bottle played alone. It's like a side bet in Caribbean stud poker. It's like noughts and crosses minus the O's. It's like doubling a bet after every loss. It's like playing chicken on a back country road. It's like betting against the house. It's like losing a game of Russian roulette. So, talking about philosophical poems and sonnets and form and playing with form. But this is truly a sonnet. Winter. We walk together through the snow. We talk to fill the silence. We need to kill every minute. We need to hear ourselves talk. We walk and talk. We've learned how to shut out the emptiness. Do we talk and talk to one another to hear ourselves as we walk? Why are we so threatened by silence? Can silence truly harm us? Can emptiness? Don't we know what eats at us? Yes, yes, we do. Emptiness eats at us, and that silence and the futility of discourse, all too human, the little things that are always impossible to undo. Still, we talk together. We walk and talk. We talk to kill the seconds. We talk to kill every minute. Every minute we talk to kill each hour. We need to shut out silence, all silence. How easily silence threatens. We have learned to assert ourselves. We humans do have that power, and so we walk together through the snow. We both speak our mind, while fresh snow begins to fall on the footprints we have left behind. I had a lot of fun with that. This is called Alone. I recently published this in After Hours, and it has the stink of a sonnet, sort of, kind of, and the stink of a triolet, but not really. But it's called Alone. Another summer rolls to its end. A cold wind blows across the sand. A shell slams shut. A faded door. There's nothing but an empty shore, so what's the use now? Why pretend? Love's a torn net you cannot mend. What's broken will not hold again. This you cannot ignore. Another summer rolls to its end. And since there's nothing to defend, unfold your arms and gently bend to gather driftwood as before. Watch pairs of seagulls reel and soar above the roiling, seething strand. Another summer rolls to its end. So I'm doing a new manuscript, and this manuscript is very noir, and I'm doing some crime blotters, and this is one that was recently in Connotation Press, which is a wonderful online journal. I'm very impressed with this press. It's called Crime Blotter Number 2 Greyhound Bus Station. Credit cards, cell phone, keys, laptop, even my driver's license. I'm surprised he didn't ask me to strip too while he was at it. And it happened so fast, the victim says. Yeah, sure, I'm thinking as I take it down. I've heard it all before, and I've seen some of it. Union Station stick-ups, CTA platform muggies gone sour as day-old beer, robberies in restaurant Johns, in bars, at ATM machines, on the Red Line, on the Clark Street bus. All of them small change acts, chicken shit takedowns. And this grateful Vic, whose eyes say, I've never felt more alive, when I finally look into them, just like the others, so familiar. Obviously, when we all read crime blotters, I'm sure a lot of you do, accidentally or otherwise, there's always someone stabbing someone. Always. So this is titled 34 Times. When she woke me up, she was screaming, find the title to the card, damn it. We began to argue. They say I must have stabbed her 34 times before they broke down the door. I don't remember. 34 times? I'll take their word for it. Me, I can't remember a thing except those screams and the sound of an airplane flying overhead when the cops broke down the door. I told them, explaining, After her screams woke me up, we began to argue. I just wanted to shut her up before the cops broke down the door. Shut up, I said. She wouldn't listen. She never listened. Shut up, shut up, I said over and over. I do remember it. The sound of an airplane. The cops broke down the door. We had been arguing. I don't remember stabbing her 34 times. Find the title to the car. Damn it, she was screaming. I just wanted to shut her up 34 times. I don't remember. For a slightly different movement, I tried a ghazal, which I'm not that much of an expert with, but I do love the form. Winter ghazal variation. Stale words hang in the evening air. Hours of light are rare. Thoughts drift. The river mirrors on flying crows. Things come and go. Thoughts drift. Slow black smoke rises in a clearing. I comb your lovely hair. Thoughts drift. A locust tree is stripped. Light is gone. You say, I never cared. Thoughts drift. To think you said you would never leave. Gray snow begins to fall. Thoughts drift. Thank you. This was on a Poetry That Moves is a contest, and the poems that win are put on the Pace bus line. And so this was one of the poems that won, a gift. Pale leaves, ghost moths, ragged screen, bird's eye maple chiffonier in cold moonlight. Moonlight framed in the mirror, monstrous moon, rose-shaped fires where forest ends, wild roses on thin snow where field begins, wild dogs on hoarfrost at dawn. The bang, bang of a gun. One poem, your poem, the one you left for me on the kitchen table. So I recently wrote a book called The Chronicles of Scarborough.
Woo, Scarborough! Sorry.
And this is a prose poem from there called Another Dream About Scarborough. So Scarborough's looking down at me at dawn says, your future is finished. I cock one eye open like the hammer in a reel. Philadelphia, Derringer, look up at him, feel one bony knee pressed on my chest. His words reverberate like gunshots in a shooting gallery, but I feel undeniably calm in spite of my imminent annihilation. Maybe there's another world waiting for me on the other side of out of sight. Lunch on the table. An easy wind blowing through an open window. White curtains. A single bird singing on a naked branch outside. Naked babe inside with pink ribbons in her long red hair. Patting. Whiter sheets on the unmade bed than me between splayed out legs. Some wise guy dedicating Dexter's Don't Explain to yours truly on the bedside radio at dusk. So this was written for my honey who's photographing me. Wow. Trapeze. A quiet moment. I live inside of it. Tick-tock. The bedroom clock on the bird's eye maple chiffonier ticks back, stops. A stuffed squirrel with one torn ear drops a nut. A half-moon's poor imitation of a moonwalk exits behind a cloud. Languid stars smile wanly from draped lacquer beds. They're smoking angel dust. Hands behind my head. I stare up at you, at us, suspended there, midair. Exact Change has been very kind to me and has published several of my poems. And I'm just going to do a quickie. Boil an egg. Boil an egg while you look into a smeared mirror. Throw some cold chili against a kitchen wall. Have a real meltdown at 3 in the morning. Let the next door neighbor with an erotic dog call the cops. You just don't care, because you are somewhere in between here and there, living all the little details you got so wrong. So this is actually 3 actually true vignettes that was recently published again in a wonderful journal, Connotation, and it's called Flash. And it's in 3 parts. Flash 1. The Irish cop would visit once a month for an hour. He'd ring the bell, climb 3 flights of stairs, then he would simply sit and stare while she sat on the unmade bed in a long white satin slip that was cut on the bias, too. The whores raised their skirts and fanned their crotches to let you know they were hot, hot, hot. Even young women riding old bikes were propositioned on Broadway at midnight. 3. She sat beside him. He wanted to show her some drawings of samurai warriors in various poses, some laughable, like the one who braced himself with one hand on the very page she was looking at, while her lover ran a languid finger down the small of her back. Thank you very much. I'm going to do Slider Worlds. Charlie and Bob, Lawrence and I, and Tom had, and a few other people actually, had a riff group going where we would, let's say Charlie would send out a poem and then we'd respond to it, so forth and so on. So this is out of that riff group, and so I owe it to everybody for this particular poem. Slider Worlds, in 3 parts. Eddie. 85% lean meat, White Castle sliders, 4 of them, and chili in a styrofoam cup nestled inside a greasy white bag, resting on a windowsill at 2 o'clock in the morning. Your feet propped up on the bed, rolled cigarette clinging to your swollen lip. while cigarette smoke jumps through circles. Not much has changed, wise guy. You're still listening to Frank Sinatra on the CD, still wondering how you got here, only this is now and that was then. No use doing an inventory when you don't intend to change a thing, and the brightest moon in 18 years is shining through the open window. Ralph decides he can make his own chili and 85% lean meat, White Castle sliders right at home. See, he says, all you do is form them into 2-inch square patties on wax paper, punch 5 or 6 holes in each patty, freeze them until you're ready to cook. I'm impressed. It's not every day I get to eat sliders right out of the pan, and he adds, hot dog buns cut in half work best. Ralph, always the smart one. 3, Billy. Lightning, thunder. It's not a great idea to be working on the computer during a rainstorm, but he has to get it down while he can. The memory of those all-night diners with their gleaming subway white tiles, like something out of a bad noir movie, the scent of cheap subway roses and dime store vases, the taste of real Cokes before the formula changed. The memory of his blacked out father eating sliders, chili running down the kitchen wall, the stench of a cigarette going out on the kitchen table. So I never thought I would like Arizona, and I have to tell you, I'm besotted with Arizona, actually, especially the desert part of it. And I visited there several years ago and was stunned. And so this was influenced by the desert. Pantune 911. The neighbor's parrot screams, there's been a crime. The white oncidiums burn in their pots, they've been hexed. But it's here on the bed you lie, you toss and cannot rest. The white oncidiums burn in their pots, they've been hexed. The tides push in and out like a spoon. You toss and cannot rest. Begin to hum a childhood tune. The tides push in and out like a spoon. Seagulls circle evening's fading light. You begin to hum a childhood tune. Clouds cut the sky, a half moon takes flight. Seagulls circle evening's fading light, but it's here on the bed you lie. Clouds cut the sky, a half moon takes flight. The neighbor's parrot screams, there's been a crime. And what I want to explain about this is that was where I wrote this poem, which is an odd contrast to the desert, but it sort of brought up these images for me somehow or other, cannot explain it. So that's Pantune 911. Thank you. Midnight in a Concave Mirror was picked up by Samsara magazine a few years back, and here it is. Midnight in a Concave Mirror. The assassin with the stolen Glock 17 semi-automatic will find you. His removable magazine in a plain brown envelope. They're waiting for you. But in the meantime, Dresden is hot in July, and Maria is calling your name on the landing. How about that? She gives you a thin blue letter from home. You read it. Read Rilke, Hölderlin. Listen to Siegfried's Rhine Journey. For dinner, cabbage, sausage, schnapps. Then someone's happy-go-lucky whistle on the street, on the stairs. Sudden rain. Thank you very much. So this was from this magazine, which was an online journal, that Bill, you were involved in very, very much so. You were one of the editors, were you not?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes? So this is titled The Defectives, in 3 parts. The subway roses in a dime store vase, wild Irish rose bottles empty on the floor on the bed, broken glass, recriminations. 2. Diego on the street, a hole in his heart, shots, more shots, slow motion getaway. Whores and pimps move in unison like choreographed dancers dodge bullets while ice cubes drop one by one by one in some motel ice maker. 3. Dog, this freak show isn't over. Here's to life below the morphine lies. Pinball machines, distorted mirrors, fun houses, impossible rides, arms thrown up in I surrender poses. Tunnel love, your uncombed hair on the pillowcase. Blood, more blood. Many years ago, I worked in Old Town. I was a bartender there. I was also a waitress. It's a very trippy, it was once a very trippy place to work in the early 60s. And so I knew Pretty Mary. She was a waitress, a friend of mine. And so this is titled Me and Pretty Mary at the Bar. Me and Pretty Mary at the bar. Bobby flipping burgers in the back, killing roaches with frozen steaks. Julie walking through the door, a blue tattooed butterfly fluttering on one white breast while Matt passes another reefer, puts a quarter in the jukebox, plays Lush Life. Then Jake rolls dice across green cloth. Snake eyes. No drinks all around. So, this is another one out of Scarborough, and Scarborough. New York City, slice of life. No different than LA or Chicago. Same bum sleeping off in a pawn shop doorway. Whiskey bottle stuffed in his hip pocket. Same rat running against an invisible wall. Same disfigured dog dying in an alley. Same loveless girl riding a sidewalk in a pair of torn bell-bottom jeans. Yellow eyes dancing like 2 manic stars hanging over any avenue at midnight. I'm sure many of you knew Effie Mahopoulos, and a very interesting poet, and she died a few years back, and so I wrote this. She was my first mentor, and a very challenging woman, but this is Obscura. She had long, beautiful hair. Anyway, Obscura. Wave, wait, wait, wait. Something comes, then goes. I feel it. A hand at the nape of the neck lets me go. Where was I held? Right here. A hair clasped in a closed locket. A landscape caught in the lens of a pinhole camera. Utterly still, I blur at the edges. Wait. Words slip away. A whole world. What remains? A hair stain on a bedroom wall. I have two more poems, and thank you very much for being so kind. This is Carnival Inventory. The flap of canvas cloth in the wind, slick sideshow carnies, the click of carnival guns, those little fake ducks that rolled by, fell back into darkness, disappeared, the Cupid dolls, teddy bears, I coveted, never won. That went to sailor boys in dress whites, their girlfriends done up in poodle skirts, bright blue eyeshadow, black mascara, went to middle-aged men with fat cigars clenched between their teeth when they pulled the trigger. I'm going to finish with Off to the George Diamond Steakhouse. My mother was always very ill when I was a child, so I spent a lot of time at the George Diamond Steakhouse. And that might sound like a privilege, but believe me, after a while, the steak doesn't taste that good. Off to the George Diamond Steakhouse. Just the two of us, with mother sick in the hospital. Sometimes 3 times a week to dine on bowls of chilled lettuce wedges, the house's special pink salad dressing, char-broiled steaks cooked by the chef in the middle of the restaurant's dining room, a side of baked potatoes lathered with sour cream butter, heaped dinner rolls in a bread basket, Coke for me, a dry martini with a speared pearl onion for Dad, while Walter King Pains stare at us. My Mary Jane shoes hover above the soiled red carpet. One last drink. His Manhattan, a red cherry for me, a walk down Wabash Avenue at 9 p.m. The long ride home on the L. Us, looking up at a few stars that remind me of the glowing eyes of those painted kids in black wood frames. Thank you so much.
Here because I think it's really strange. Oh, I gotta have to grab another mic because she's keeping that mic by her. Da-da-da. Because I happen to have the. Oh, this isn't even on, is it? Yeah, it is. Is it on? Can you guys hear me? I happen to have the 2014 literary date book called. Oh, you're sitting there. You are sitting. Oh, you're. Well, you're allowed to stretch. Sorry. Don't forget it, which is a collection of stuff from 2013. And I happen to notice this wasn't planned. That on the week of Jenene's feature has a poem from Jenene Ravesloot on the pages.
Oh, Spyglass.
And I was wondering if you would like to read that. So I wonder, this is something that's in the Scars book, published in 2015. Totally freaky, it has no plan, but this is something that was in 2013.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about this poem. I normally don't do this, but as a child, I lived on Fullerton Avenue, and there was a hotel across the street from my bedroom, thank God. And I would spy on that. So this is titled Spyglass. I have a little opera glass. Spyglass. Bare legs pass, but not completely. Pass beneath the half-turned down window shades. Past the man in Levi jeans, The woman must be saying something he wants to hear, because he puts the paper down beside him, leans forward in his chair. Thank you. I was a